As college students and as people, food is always on the mind. The college student demographic is in a relatively unique position when it comes to how they acquire their food. The system they use can utilize meal credits and operate on a buffet style, or require the students to budget each food item individually. Either way, students are more or less chained to dining halls, whether it be by financial means or otherwise. With this documentary, we hope to explore the various aspects of this relationship that students have with dining halls. It's a well-known fact that the wonder and good taste of the dining hall is a short-lived thing, usually ended by the realization that you will be eating many of the same meals for a whole year. We were interested to see if the grumblings that we were hearing from both ourselves and our friends about the food was ubiquitous, so we went into the dining halls to see what the general consensus is about the dining hall food.
The food here could honestly be a lot better.
I like it, but I get tired of it.
It's edible.
It's edible.
Yeah, the food just gets boring after a while, just eating the same thing, like fries, burgers.
Sustenance only, not for taste. If it's tasty, that's a nice surprise.
Pretty monotonous, same stuff every day pretty much.
So mostly I look for good taste in food. Here I think the dining hall kind of falls short.
This may seem a little harsh and one-sided, so let's see what the other side of the operation has to say in defense of themselves. We emailed the manager of the Viking Commons, the most used dining hall on Western Washington University's campus, to set up an interview. Unfortunately, he was unable to be interviewed for a comment.
Our original plan was to go straight to the source. We wrote to managers and chefs to see if we could get their perspectives. Unfortunately, they were unable to interview with us. But besides that, one look at their email told us all that we needed to know. Their response seemed pre-generated and calculated, assertive but careful to steer from confrontations. They weren't interested in giving us the inside scoop. They only wanted to tell us what we wanted to hear. So we called in a favor from our connection, who wishes to remain anonymous. He's someone we can trust, someone lower on the food chain, someone who isn't afraid to stick it to the man and tell it like it is.
I don't really think there's a time when efficiency is better than quality. So it's valued more highly. That's the one.
Yeah.
Theirs is not my experience. Well, food quality is like rather dependent. I know they do everything by the recipe. Some things are never good. Mac and cheese. Their mac and cheese is awful. It's like disgusting. Some things are better than others. Some things are never good. Some things are pretty good most of the time. Like pizza, it's fine. It's like pretty good most of the time, actually. But yeah, it's alright. It's nothing stellar. I feel like people are really social at dinner, and definitely, I guess they're at lunch, but it definitely seems like there are more islands of people at lunch, just like one person sitting at the table. And like at dinner, it doesn't really seem like that. Everyone seems to be like chatting, having a good time. Breakfast, there's almost no socialness. Not everyone wakes up for breakfast, so like dining hall is like super quiet. It seemed like very quite relaxed at breakfast, and I don't know. At dinner, like everyone seems to be like eager for food, and like at breakfast, they're just kind of like there. I think the time of day definitely affects how people like behave and like their rushiness.
According to our connection, quality is a top priority, second only to safety in the eyes of the VC management. But most patrons have had nothing but bad things to say about the food's taste. They say it's simple, there's no need to plan for meals, it's dependable, and it's a short walk away. If patrons shared the official values of the Viking Commons, then it would be hard for them to justify paying for a meal plan on top of their student loans. The menus section of the VC's website is linked by a colorful photo of vegetables scattered around a table. There's a section on National Nutrition Month that talks about some of the healthy dishes available at the VC. But their most dependable options don't give off the same vibe. Most students we interviewed said they ended up eating the same things every day. The only main courses consistently available are things like pizzas and burgers. There are always salads, and healthy alternatives are offered at meals, but they change from day to day. Regular side items include French fries, cereal, and soft-serve ice cream.
So the long and short of it is that the main things stressed by the staff at Westernist dining halls are efficiency and cleanliness, with the promise that quality never takes a backseat to these priorities. This leads to an interesting line of thought, though. If the quality isn't what keeps students coming back day in and day out, what does?
Earlier this quarter, I went out with some friends I hadn't seen since last year, and we went out and we decorated pottery. And I made this shot glass. I put a little punny Star Wars reference on it. And I realized I don't care about pottery. Who the hell cares about pottery? I'm not an artist. I made this crummy thing. I spent $20 on a little tiny shot glass I haven't even had time to use. And you know what? I realized that day that what I was doing was really just a vehicle. It was really just an excuse to spend time with friends I hadn't seen in a really long time. We used to be able to just get together and go get something to eat every day, and that's how we would spend our time. That's how we would talk. That's how we would decompress. And now we're down to things like this. So, really, the dining hall offers a lot more than we might think it does. For the average student, management's most heavily stressed standards aren't met at the Viking Commons. But a look at the crowds on a typical day leads one to believe that the dining hall is tailored to the customer's purpose, whatever it may be. Lynn Staley conceptualizes place as an ever-evolving social process, influenced by culture, time, and personal interactions. What defines a place, according to Staley, can change at any moment to accommodate these influences. Viewing the dining hall through this lens brings up some new considerations. At odd hours in the middle of the day, the Viking Commons always has a handful of diners. They usually sit alone and far apart, some of them with laptops or papers scattered all over their tables. Others are just there for a quick pick-me-up, in a 30-minute gap between classes. At dinner time, everything changes. Students push tables together to sit with all their friends. There's shouting and laughing. A flash mob performance of Happy Birthday starts up to embarrass a friend. The dining hall has become a social hub. Its atmosphere has changed completely to meet the needs of its customer base. It's known as both a place for convenience and a place for conversation, but these two needs don't have to be mutually exclusive. Staley tells us that as a place evolves, any number of factors can work together to define it. Perhaps the most value in the dining hall comes not from convenience or socializing alone, but from socializing with convenience.
A lot of us live in Nashville, just really close by. So the proximity, and then I don't have a kitchen, so it's convenient.
It's mostly convenience, but let's say if we lived in a house, it would most certainly not be sensible to come back.
You just kind of get a lot of food, and that's really good because it may be shitty, but you still get some form of food.
There's no need to go out and spend any money on a poorly decorated shot glass. All the money was spent up front. Students can go to the VC during most hours of the day, and a lot of their friends probably have meal plans. For a first-year college student, this outlet is especially important.
To most people who eat on campus regularly, these spaces might seem like a mediocre yet overpriced buffet, but a dining hall can act as many things. A place to meet new friends, a place to meet old friends, or simply a place to eat and decompress between classes. Eaters at dining halls are explicit about the fact that they dislike most of the food, but their actions and social patterns suggest that they implicitly enjoy the way their social agendas interact with the space.